Boo! Burp! Right after I said boo, a burp came up. Hello everyone! Hello, hello! How you guys doing? It's been a whole week. Well, not a whole week. It's been like the last time I streamed was Monday, and now it's Friday, so the work week is over. It's over. Did you guys survive? Did you guys do it? The thing? You know the thing. Hello, how you guys doing? Let's say our hellos, shall we? Let's say our hellos, and then today's stream will be a little, not really experimental. It's gonna be on the chill side, but it's the first time I'm doing it, so, or kinda sorta. I'll tell you when we get there. But let's say our hellos first, right? So SariBot, our rock. This is where I realized that something was wrong with SAMMI bot, because one of my when I start the stream, there's usually a message that's like, oh yeah, like welcome to stream, blah blah blah. That didn't post up, so I had to look into SAMMI bot to see that it was functioning correctly, and now it is. So we got SariBot. Hey Poland, you are indeed first. Congrats! Folky got your sticker. Kale, hello, you got your sticker. Hello, hello, beeplebees, hello. You got your sticker. Matthew, hello. I just saw your DM. I saw your DM. Rip, rest in pepperoni in terms of your Zomboid run with Ruse. I'm assuming it's Zomboid, right? Hey, pulling while Twitch really wants me to buy a car. Oh, is that the kind of ads that you're getting? What brand of car? Honda, Ford? I do kind of want a Civic Hybrid now. They really have me figured out. Oh no, the algorithm is trained on you. They trained their sights on you. Oh no, they know what you want and they're showing you the ads for it. Fugubi, hello. Welcome, welcome. No, it killed me. I'm gone. No, no! No, we need our star student. One of our star students. No. Who's gonna lead the pack when it's time to eat the cars? The cars that A. Pullen is gonna buy, you know? Boo Erp! Did you say boo? Are they saying boo or boo Erp? I was saying boo Erp. Boop. I did not survive. I failed to do the thing, but it was still hilarious. Yeah, I saw with what you were saying. Rest in pepperoni. But at least, so like, was Ruse? No, you know what? Let me start my tracking. We'll get to yapping, and then we'll do what I wanted to do, which is research. We're gonna research together today. Whether you like it or not, it's study hall. We're back in study hall. The last time I did study hall, I did like a Pomodoro thing. Today is not a Pomodoro thing. It is a collective research thing. So with that, let's get to class. You get to class. Hello. Hello. Oh, there's no music playing. What is a good vibe with astronomy related stuff? I think... Oh, is Melody Sheep on here? Do we want to listen to the smooth, dulcet tones of Carl Sagan? Melody Sheep. Oh, Sound from the White Sun, Mother, Hawking's Waltz, The Music of Sound, Binary Dreams. If you guys don't know who Melody Sheep is, they remix just like voice clips of like famous scientists like Neil deGrasse Tyson, Carl Sagan, into songs. Is this one? There you go. There you go. Okay, we're gonna listen to Melody Sheep. I can feel my brain getting wrinklier already. That's what you need. You need the wrinkles in your brain. We was yapping and tracking and yapping. Yeah, so that's what I was gonna ask. So like this one Corpo VTuber, Ruse, Crusader Ruse. Crimson Ruse. The fandom is the Crusaders? He was playing Zomboid? Is that what was up? And then were you on the telly with him? I mean, not like, you know, your model, but like was he playing with like other Rusaders and you could like see your name and stuff? If so, that's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. The music is a tad bit loud in my ear, so I'm gonna lower it a little bit. Check out Akira the Dawn sometime. Hard to explain. Sure. If it's anything like Melody Sheep, I'm down. How about Los Shinigamis del Norte cover of the Digimon theme? There's that, but I want something space themed today because, yeah, you know what? I'll tell you what's the plan for today. So I wanted to, it's been a minute since I've done an educational stream, like one where it's just like I make a presentation and then I like present, you know? I think the last one was me talking about graphic design, and I think that was a lot of fun because I got to like walk you through my process of like how I like design my slides for things for like my educational stream. So that was pretty fun. So out of inspiration from that, I wanted to do this kind of stream that, you know, there's people that do those not necessarily streams, but those videos are like, draw with me, make art with me, get ready for the day with me, blank with me, you know? So I'm thinking, research with me, Wibbing Cubs. We're gonna research some things together. And today's topic is something that I've wanted to make an educational stream about, but it was because I saw a really cool art exhibit a couple months back. The exhibit has since, you know, like closed. But it was cool. It was an exhibit about ancient astronomy. And I'm not talking about ancient aliens. We're not talking about ancient aliens today. We're talking about ancient astronomy, as in how ancient civilizations looked up at the stars and made up their stories of what the stars and the planets were and how they saw them. Because I think that conversation is really interesting. You know, I love astronomy, I love mythology, I love ancient cultures. Did I say astrology or astronomy? Anyway, astronomy, but back in the day, it was both, right? Both those two things were like very intricately linked together. And the person who was leading the tour that I saw of this museum exhibit about ancient astronomy, they said something very cool, which was back in the day, the people who were shamans, the people who were religious leaders, were no different than the scientists. They were the scientists of their time. And that's not the way that people might understand that. It's not saying that like that the scientists were like, you know, religious fanatics or anything like that. It's more so that like, what does a scientist do then, you know, practice the scientific method of like, you know, finding out if, or try to basically, what is a scientist but someone who tries to answer the questions of the world, of the universe. So back in the day, before we had access to things like microscopes and telescopes and all that, ancient peoples were trying to solve those mysteries and come up with their own stories of how the world came to be, how the stars and the planets came to be, right? So they were trying to do that with the best of their abilities. So who's to say that they aren't also scientists? But yeah, I think that was a pretty cool topic. So that's something that I kind of want to like research today with you guys. So unlike the other educational streams, I don't have a presentation ready. Instead, we're going to be making it together. If we even get to that part, today will be mostly like researching, you know, looking at Wikipedia articles and other sources of things. So that's what I'm hoping for. But before we get into that, we can yap a little bit first. While I have the star, you guys want to look at the stars? How it looks here in Los Bincos? Ignore what it says here. They spelled it weird. It's supposed to be Los Bincos. And don't worry, I did change my location on this thing. So this isn't actually like, you know, what like you know, my area looks like. Don't try to be like, wait a minute, zoom in and like be like, I'm gonna track down where that tree and building are and I'm gonna find out where Binka lives. But yeah, let's yap. Let me catch up on chat and then we'll go from there. So let's see. Crimson Ruse and the Crimson Dudes, as drunk Shinri says. Crimson Ruse and the Crimson Dudes. I love that. He was playing with the community, and I died like right out of the gate, like I was a flustered Uma idol. Oh no! Ancient fish people. Can't wait to learn about ancient aliens. No, there's no ancient aliens. No. Just because white people didn't do it doesn't mean it was by aliens. Wow, ancient mole people made all the landmarks. No! No more stream. We're ending. I'm driving you guys back home. Beep beep. Alright, let's get back into it. The real-time deets on Binka's latrine in the forest. Why a latrine? This is a pretty cool site though, so I will actually link it to you guys. It's Stellarium. It's also an app, as you can see from the very large ad that's also on the screen. It's Stellarium. I actually used to use that app to kind of like, it's really cool if you, sorry, I was like rubbing my eye, which is why my model did that. It's a really cool app. It's one of those star map apps that if you hold your phone up to the sky and you have that that tracking feature on, when you move your phone, it tracks like where it's pointing at the night sky, you know? So obviously here I'm on browser, but you know, if you point your phone like this way and then you like hold it up, then this would also go up. So you could locate exactly where, for example, Saturn is. I was gonna say the moon, but it's like you could see the moon. you could most likely see the moon with your naked eye. So let's see. This is east. This is like an unobscured view of the sky. Like there's still our atmosphere, but like if you're like in the middle of a field like this and there isn't a lot of light pollution, this is somewhat what it would look like. You could see like some remnants, not remnants, you could see a little bit of the Milky Way, but I think there are, ooh, actually I'm scared to press this on fear of like, hold on, let me hide this for a second. Oh, I can just hide the ad. Alright, let me click on some things real quick. I want to, yeah, view some settings. I remember there was, oh no, I found it. Let me do some things. Atmosphere, landscape, deep sky, ooh. Full screen, constellations. Oh, I guess you can do it, but I thought on this app you were able to simulate what it looked like if you have a lot of light pollution. But no. So this is like best case scenario. This is what you can see if you live in a place with no light pollution. Unfortunately, I do live in Los Pincos, so this is definitely not what I see on a daily basis. I'll see like, you know, little like 1/10 of what we're seeing here, but there's some cool features down here. Like if you click on atmosphere, you remove the atmosphere. This is what it would look like if we had no atmosphere. You could see so many stars, but also we would die. But also you could see so many stars. And then you can also take a look at this. Remove the earth. Oh no! We're floating. We're floating in gravity. We're floating in zero gravity, help! But yeah, it's pretty cool, because then you could see like what's directly like under, right? The sun. Ooh, look, the planets are kind of like aligned. Oh, and the Pleiades are over there. Let's see, speedrunning the stream. I mean, if a bear meets an idol in the forest, does anyone know? Exactly, because I would eat them. Love staring up at the inky black void. Yeah, that's exactly what I would see. I would just see like, not even this, because I would like to one day see the Milky Way. It'd be nice, but instead I see something more like this. You can also, I think another pretty cool thing here is you could see the constellations. Like it automatically connects those constellations for you. You can also see constellation art. It's pretty neat, right? Let's see. Love staring up at, oh yeah, if you solve my bug, now I can leave without thinking why the F doesn't it work all weekend. And also listen to BB while I drive. Aw, nice. I hope you have a safe drive from work to home. But yeah, so this is a pretty cool app. There's other ones I use. I think actually, let me take a look at the one that I use right now. Because I remember if you do use Stellarium, you do have to pay for it. It's not a lot. It's like less than $5 from what I remember. Unless they up the price, but I have an app called, I think it's just called Star Map. Yeah, I think I have Star Map because I think it's free. But yeah, Binka eating idols in the forest. I do no such thing. What proof do you have that I do that? So yeah, this site I think is pretty cool. You can also see the equatorial grid, as in like, let me put the ground back. Let me put that back there. So you know, I'm in Los Pincos, right? So this kind of shows the lines of like where I am compared to like north. Hasn't anyone taught you not to meet idols where you eat? No one's ever taught me that before. You also have the azimuthal grid, which is more like, I actually don't know how to describe what this is. If I'm being like 100% honest with you. You can also toggle on deep sky objects. So another cool thing, let me turn off the constellations and the art. This lets you see deep sky objects, which are like circled in blue over here. So this is what the sky looks like, but with the help of my mouse, of my scroll wheel, you can zoom in. And we get even more details. Ooh, see? We could see like another galaxy over here. And Messier 31, which is like deep in the distance. So that's the cool thing I think about astronomy, is that like, you know, you can zoom in and you're gonna just see like way more things. So like, let's just pick this like random star over here. The more you zoom in, the more you see that there's like just other stars all the way in the distance. And each of those stars might not even be stars, they might be galaxies. Proof Binko from 5 minutes ago if this VOD survives. It's like the Chappelle Show thing. It's like, nah, I didn't come. What do you think of me just coming into someone's house and messing up their couch with my boots? Why would I do something like that? Yeah, I rubbed my boots all over his couch. I would never eat idols. What makes you think that I would eat idols in a forest? Why would you even imply such a thing? Yeah, I ate that idol in the forest. This is Fomalhaut. One thing that I love looking at when I can see it in the night sky, unfortunately it's down in the earth right now, is the Pleiades, the seven sisters. Now, actually, let me see if I can show you something else. I want to see if is Orion out. Vega! Do you guys know what Vega is? Do you guys know a certain hollow star that was named after the star of Vega? Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember him? There was a certain hollow star. He was named after this one. You remember? Vega. This is one of the like bright stars that make up the summer triangle. So the other ones would be Altair and Deneb. I think that's actually this. Yeah, look, Altair. Yeah, look. So Altair, the three like brightest stars, they make up the summer triangle. Because it is still technically summer. You got Altair, you got Vega, you got Deneb. Deneb also is someone that was the namesake of another idol. So we scroll out. Antares, Vesta. What else? The moon. The moon is currently out. If we zoom all the way into it, that's another cool thing is if you zoom all the way into a planet, for example, you can see more details. Oh, you can see it moving too. It's very slight, but do you see it? It's moving. Let's find, I forgot if I ever told you this before, but at least not here on an app, but I've always had a thing with being able to easily locate Jupiter when it's out at night. So like, let's say that you step outside your house and you see like a really bright star that might actually be more likely to be a planet. But I've always been pretty good. I don't know if I would call it a talent or a skill or something, but usually like I'm able to look up and like whichever one that because I know that sounds like whatever. It's like, oh, like you just look up at like the brightest star that's most likely going to be Jupiter. That's not really much of a skill, but like sometimes other planets are out, like Venus. And sometimes Mars. Mars has like a very slight red tint to it, and then when you zoom in, it's not slight. It's just red. But like if there are two really bright stars out that might be planets, it could be Venus or Jupiter. 9 times out of 10, I'll accurately find Jupiter. So 9 times out of 10, it's not like 100% chance, but look, Saturn's here, and then once I zoomed in, Neptune's also over there in the distance. So we keep on zooming and zooming and zooming and schmoving. Eventually, that orb is gonna become Saturn. You can even see the moons. I think that's pretty cool. Prometheus, Janus, Pandora, Dione. Oh, I think this is the Titans. All of Saturn's moons are named after the Titans from Greek mythology. Enceladus, Hyperion. Neptune is also Iapetus. That's another one. Neptune is over here. It's got that blue tint. Let's zoom in on that. And I think all of Neptune's moons are named after like ocean things. So there's Triton. Oh no! It like zoomed me out. It's because this is also literally moving in real time. No! No! Now we're not gonna bother. We're not gonna bother. Okay, what else can we see up here? Antares. There's not too many planets that are out right now. I think it's in the southern hemisphere right now. You summon the cats, folk. And pet the cats. Let me remove the earth. As is my want, you know. Mars is over here. Its two moons are Phobos and Deimos. Mercury is there. Look, there's a little bit of a planetary alignment here. There is the sun, and then Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter are in a line together. If we zoom in on Jupiter, my buddy Jupiter, it's super bright in the sky. And it's moving, it's moving. Hey, who's throwing things at me? Beeplebees! Beeplebees. Why would you throw things? We're looking at the stars, and also we're so Egyptian now. The cats, in fact, it's so Egyptian that the cats are now floating. The cats are floating. Wait, let me actually move the Spotify so it's out of the way. We'll move it. We'll move it here. And then the cats. What shall I do with the cats? Put them on the floor, maybe. Move myself. Oh, you know what? Because we're Egyptian theme, maybe should I change my model? Should I act the part? No, actually, I'll just stay like this for now. I'll just stay like this for now. But yeah, we got Jupiter. We got its 4 biggest moons. I think these are the 4 biggest moons. Ganymede, Io, Europa, and Callisto. And if you zoom in all the way, you can see, oh, you can't see the bright red spot. Put them on Mr. Pancakes? Okay. He's, like, he would get blocked by them. It's like he has those Russian Ushanka hats. Except it's just 2 cats. It's not even like a hat. It's just 2 cats on his head. Look, I could... No, wait, I'd be sniffing their butts. That's gross. Get your butt out of my face. And the Schneckery's like, get your face out of my butt. And you put them down here with you guys. Here, you guys can play with the cats. Pet Mr. Pancakes. You're petting him. So there's Jupiter. What else? Beetlejuice. Betelgeuse. There is a hollow star who is... oh, actually, something fun that I like is that if you ever need to find the Pleiades, or if you ever need to find Betelgeuse, they're usually right next to each other. The way that I remember it is... Betelgeuse is right over what's called like the... sometimes it's known as like the Eye of the Bull, because if you turn on the constellation art, it's... Oh, wait, no, it's not. Why did I think Taurus... Oh, no, it's Aldebaran. Aldebaran is the Eye of the Bull. And the Pleiades are the fleas of the bull. So if you ever... So there are a couple stars here that are very bright. So Aldebaran, Betelgeuse, and Rigel. Aldebaran is like pretty bright. So if you find this one in the night sky, right next to it is usually the Pleiades, or like pretty close to it, because they're both within the constellation of Taurus. The Pleiades are really cool. I forgot if we went over the Pleiades during my educational stream on astronomy. But it's a collection of 7 stars. So what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But the more you zoom in, the more you see. So I actually don't know. No, actually they label it. There's Pleione, Atlas, Alcyone, Merope, Electra, Kelaeno, Maya, Taygeta. So those are the 7 sisters, right? So, and Asterope, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's actually 9. What's interesting about the Pleiades is that they are, there are 7... How should I say this? The Pleiades are known as like a group of 7 sisters. All right, 7. Just remember that, 7 sisters. However, with the naked eye, you can only see 6 stars. So, but it is in the mythology. There are I forgot. I don't remember if it was like Overly Sarcastic Productions or there was another video about why this is. Why like you can only see 6 visible stars, and yet a lot of myths from around the world that talk about the Pleiades, about this like star cluster over here, they identify 7 sisters, but sometimes the 7th sister, like something happens to the 7th sister, and that's why you can only see 6. So it's like, why is that such a prominent thing in like different world mythologies, that they talk about 7 but you can only see 6? And it's because apparently way back long ago, so like one thing that you should know is that the stars are constantly moving. Kind of like how we're revolving around the sun is revolving around the center of the galaxy, the center of the Milky Way galaxy. So these stars are always moving, but they're so far away that it doesn't seem like it. But over the course of tens of thousands of millions of years, the distance that they travel becomes a little bit more noticeable. So if you were to magically time travel to like 1,000,000 years ago, you look up at the night sky, the constellations wouldn't be familiar to us anymore. Like the Big Dipper wouldn't quite look like the Big Dipper, or Ursa Major, right? That's how I know it, because I'm a bear. They wouldn't quite look like what we're familiar with. So way back long ago, like before there were even like civilizations, but they were still humans, one of the 7 sisters, one of these stars, was far away enough that you could see it with the naked eye. Because what had happened is basically one of these stars has drifted so close to another star, at least how it appears to us, is that they've kind of merged together into like a 6, just so it only looks like there's 6 stars, but there's actually like a 7th that's hiding. But back then, like thousands of years ago, that 7th star would have been visible. So what's even more impressive is not necessarily that like, oh, back then they could see the star, is that this information was passed down generation to generation to generation until it went to the Greek times and the Roman times, where they were telling the myths of the 7 sisters. They were like, there used to be 7 sisters, but something happened to the 7th one, and that's why you can only see 6 stars. But I don't know, that's just so cool to me. Like the idea of information from generations ago. I'm not talking like hundreds or thousands, I'm talking like hundreds of thousands of years ago, or I guess tens of thousands, depending on how long. I actually don't know the timeline of how humans evolved, because I'm a bear, you see. But tens of thousands of years is a very long time, and the fact that we still have a little bit of like it's not a lot, but we still have a little bit of information about those times passed through just by oral tradition. Think about that. Like, we don't have their writing anymore, we don't have any of their stuff anymore, but we have their oral tradition. Like, it was passed down, and the story changed like year after year after year, generation after generation, but we still have this myth of like the 7 sisters, and something happened to the 7th. I don't know, that's just really cool. It's very similar to apparently in Australia, the Aborigines, the Aboriginal peoples of the indigenous peoples of Australia, they have creatures in their mythos that are said to resemble Neolithic creatures. Like Neolithic as in like, you know, mastodons and like woolly mammoths and saber-toothed tigers and all the things from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, except for the Tyrannosaurus and those ones. But imagine like way back long ago, people told stories about woolly mammoths, and then they kept on telling those stories of woolly mammoths until woolly mammoths died, you know? So imagine someone who says like part of their mythology is like, there was once elephants, but they had fur and longer tusks and things like that, and that is still a part of their mythology, even thousands of years after those animals are long extinct. That's crazy. That's like incredible, you know? A 2-for-1. Apparently the storm spot on Jupiter has shrunk to be under the size of Earth. Wait, really? The Great Red Spot is disappearing? Oh no. I actually did not know that, because I remember we played the Magic School Bus game together, and they said that the Great Red Spot is big enough to fit 3 Earths, and now you're telling me it's under the size of the Earth? Wait a minute, the point of today's stream is to research. I'm curious about that, so let's look it up. So Jupiter Great Red Spot. Ooh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Prehistoric orcs, exactly. Can you imagine? Randona, the prehistoric orc. Like, we can make up our own oral tradition right now. I could tell you. Gather around, Babing Cubs. I'm gonna tell you the story of the prehistoric orcs, known as Randon Nuring. He was a man of at least 6 feet tall. Green was his skin, and mighty were his tusks, and scoliosis was his back. AI search results might below. Yeah, I remember there was like a hack where if you put in a swear, it doesn't activate the AI thing, but I guess they patched it out because I remember I told Randon and he tried it and he was like, lies, you lied to me. And I'm like, I'm not lying. They patched it out. I'm not lying to you. So yeah, we have the Great Red Spot. I remember we learned about this in the Magic School Bus video game, right? So what is this? A persistent high pressure region. It's a storm on Jupiter. Most recognizable feature. 432 kilometers. What the heck is a kilometer? 268 miles per hour. God dang. It was first observed in September of 1831. A similar spot was observed 1665 to 1713. First observations. Oh, wow. This is from 1881. Look at this sketch. That's so cool. You're right! Folk, yes, you're right. Look. It's shrinking. It's getting smaller. Oh no, it's gonna be gone. Future people are gonna think we literally are as tall as 6 feet. Short AF. I just realized what you meant by that, like you literally put like the size of our like feet together and it's like, oh man, short feet. What the heck is a kilometer? We need to deploy the rebigulator. It's true. We need to deploy it. Get all of our trash. Collect all the trash on planet Earth and just rocket it to Jupiter. Maybe we'll encounter the monolith from Space Odyssey 2001. It needs to embiggen the smallest man. No. There was also a great, I think Neptune used to have a great blue spot, and I think it also, like, evaporated, right? Not evaporated, but it got smaller over time. Right? Let me look it up. So, Neptune, great... Oh, it's the great dark spot? Great blue spot? Yeah, the great dark spot. Is it still there? I remember the Magic School Bus game. They also mentioned this one. Little is known about its origins, movements, and disappearance of the dark spots appeared since 1989. It's disappeared! When the spot was to be photographed again, it had disappeared completely, leaving astronomers to believe that it had either been covered up or had vanished. The persistence of companion clouds shows some former dark spots may continue to exist. It's gone! There's no more. Oh, but there's other dark spots. Interesting. Damn climate change, no! Humans are so bad that they're even affecting other planets. No. Actually, give me a second, Babing Cubs. I'm gonna step away because it's getting pretty dark now. And I need to turn on the light in my room or else it gets scary, spooky. Oh, spooky stream. Oh no. Oh no, we're gonna turn off the lights. Turn back the lights. Turn the lights back on. We need like a clap on. Clap on. Clap on. So yeah, the spots, they have disappeared Because of damn climate change. Yeah, what else can we see here? Beer! Look, guys, I'm in the sky. The only thing is, like, why... Okay, so here's the Big Dipper. You guys can see that, right? Like, the Big Dipper, this is, like, the dippy part, and this is the, this is, like, the handle. Say, if you were to, like, time travel, like, back a million years, this would not look like a Big Dipper anymore. But, one thing that always bothered me about the constellation of Ursa Major is, like, why did they give it such a long tail? Like, if it had a long tail, why even bother calling it a bear? Like, just call it something else that has, like, a long tail, you know? I'm sure there is a reason. I'm kind of being facetious. I'm being kind of silly, but I'm sure there is a reason. Like, bears were probably really important to the culture that actually made this constellation, right? But I don't know. Part of me was like, why is the tail so long? What bear has a tail that long? Here I am gatekeeping bear. You guys can't even see my tail. That's the thing. You guys can't even see my tail. So who knows? Maybe I do have a long tail. The great Binka in the sky. That's me. That's me, and then this is you guys. Wait, look at the little bear. It also has a long tail. What is that? What is that? Huh? Bears were very different then? That could be a good thing. Wait, actually. Let's research. Let's do some research. Okay, there is a type of bear called the short-faced bear. This is a bear ancestor. I'm curious about their tails. Look at that! No tails! Oh, it's a tail! I was sitting here thinking, why is there a wing on that bear's butt? Looks more like a cat. Maybe they were from the Berenstain Bear universe? Maybe. Maybe in that universe they have longer tails. He'd like to shake your hand. My ancestor would like to shake your hand. Like a firm handshake. Look! See? This is how tall my ancestor was. At least 6 feet. At least 6 human feet. Maybe even more bear feet. It looks like he's whispering in his ear. Hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear. I don't know if the mic even let me let my whisper go through. But the bear be like, "Hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear." That Skrellington will give you a real bad rattling. He will. No, he just wants to shake your hand. Actually, would this be also an ancestor to both me and Folk? Is this our shared grandfather, great grandfather? Actually, there's literally a tree right here, so I'm over here asking questions. We need to find the connecting grandfather between me and Folk. So we have Ursine. Wait, actually, does this imply that this is actually a completely different? Oh no. This is the spectacle bear. We have Ursine here. Probably one of Folk's relatives right here. Ursine. I think Melursus is the Melursus is the sloth bear. Free real estate. Rattle 'em, boys. Ursidae is the family. Ursidae. These are us bears. I need the family tree. I need our family tree. Is it this one? Tremartine. This is the spectacle bear. They split off. This is pandas. Ursine. Oh, here we go. Ah, so it's still being debated. It's still being debated, like, when our family lines split off. Okay, so we have the spectacled bear, sloth bear. Here we are. So my family's right here. I'm Helarctos malayanus. Malayanus. And then Folk's family line is somewhere down here, the brown bear. Because Kodiak is like an offshoot of like the brown bear. So he's more closely related to the polar bears. And then from there, it splits off into the black bears and the sun bears. So I'm more closely related to the sun bear. I mean, to the black bears. If we take this family tree, then... Oh, this is interesting. So this is saying that... so of course, here's the brown bears. And then you're more closely related to the polar bears. And then that... another branch on that tree is American black bear. Ah. So this is saying that the Asian black bear is a little bit more distantly related from the American black bear. This one is saying that they're more closely related. I see. And then this one is also saying that I'm more closely related to the sloth bears. And then distant to both of us, to both me and Folk, would be the spectacle bear and the pandas. Which I know there is that like bear VTuber Discord, but I don't remember like if anyone like who is like a panda, who is a spectacle bear. I know that there's at least one sloth bear in there. There is a moon bear, which is an Asian black bear. That's Jiro, right? Man, real life Digivolution lines are confusing. When do we evolve into guns and hot anime girls? Eventually, like I don't know, give it give it a few adventures. We might have to find some partner, like some some kids with crests that, you know, just plopped in the middle of our world. And I'm like, hey, I'm Babinka. If you practice the quality of... Okay, what would my crest be? You practice the quality of art history. Art appreciation. You have the crest of art appreciation. If you keep on appreciating art, I'll digivolve. Maybe with a gun. So sloth bears is why sun bears have long freaky tongues? Probably. I know, I can't... if I ever ask Big Ham whenever she has availability, because I don't think she's not taking commissions at the moment, but if I ever request like a 2.0 of both my model and my rigging, then I would want like the ability to stick my tongue out. Just be like, bleh. I'm over here with the crest of laziness. No, but then that means like the lazier your tamer is, the more you can digivolve. Wait a minute, then you would become Belphemon. I love Belphemon. Because he's the dark demon lord. He's the demon lord of sloth. So you would become Belphemon. I'm jealous. His whole line is so cool. We're gonna tangent a little bit to talk about Belphemon's line. I know we're supposed to talk about ancient astronomy, which we will. And we we went on a tangent. We went on a tangent on bears, and now we're gonna go on one on Digimon, but I just really like Belphemon's line. So, Digimon Wiki. Let's do Wikimon. Belphemon. There we go. You got Belphemon Sleepy Guy. Sleep mode. He can become Belphemon Rage mode. There we go, rage mode. I don't want just the images, I want the articles. Belphemon. There we go. Sleep mode. But he can digivolve from... I thought, yeah, Astamon. Astamon, I love Astamon so much. He's a gangster, he's got a gun. You know? And then from Astamon, I believe is... Porcupamon, right? Porcupamon? I think this is the line. Yeah, like Porcupamon is so freaky looking. I kind of dig him. Wait, we're kind of like the same. We're not the exact same like color purple, but he's also a purple bear. Look at that. And then he can digivolve from Phascomon, who's not a bear. He's a koala. It's quite quality. Not even rage mode, pure sleep mode. Still, it's interesting that Kodiak and Sunbears don't meet up until the family rank. Yeah, exactly. So if we have like a bear family reunion, I'll see you over there. I'll see it over there. Hopefully they'll serve some like bugs or something this time and not just or maybe they'll serve some salmon for me. But yeah, so I think that's pretty cool. We tangented of bears. There is in fact a wing coming out of this bear's butt for some reason. What else? What else? Oh, serious. Surely you can't be serious, Axel serious. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about ancient astronomy, shall we? Because we talked about like straight up astronomy, like astronomy as we understand it nowadays. But we also need a little bit of ancient astronomy. So how did people come to these conclusions? A lot of people assume that a lot of astronomy, like the scientific part of it, came from like the age of not discovery, the scientific revolution with Copernicus and Galileo, those people like that. So not to devalue their findings, of course, because yeah, these are like, you know, the grandfathers of astronomy and whatnot, but ancient peoples were looking up at the sky as far back as human beings gained sentience, you know, like monkeys and apes are looking up at the sky, and while they might not be making like mythology and coming up with all of these like theories as to how the world came to be, you know, ever since we were sentient, we've been able to look up at the sky and just wonder, right? So of course, once you get civilizations involved, now that people don't have to worry about hunting and gathering, they're settling down with agriculture, with permanent cities and civilizations. Now they have time to not only look up at the sky, but come up with theories and put it down on not necessarily paper, but in writing. So we still have some of that writing. Eating a whole chicken, it has to come out of the bear somehow. Oh no, that's where that wing came from. So we have I remember looking into like star charts, basically star maps, like all over the world and across ancient civilization. You see these maps of stars and how like someone literally, like analog style, they were sitting at their writing utensils of choice, whether that be stone, whether that be paper in the case of ancient China, whether that be something else, and they were literally drawing where each of the stars were. Those are star maps, and they've existed for a long time. So one of the earliest ones that I can at least think of, there might be earlier ones, but the Mulapin is one. It's a Babylonian what is this, compendium that deals with many diverse aspects of Babylonian astronomy and astrology. It's a star catalog. Yes, it's a catalog of all the stars that they were able to identify. But it's not necessarily a map. I think it really is just a catalog of like, yeah, there's this star, it like shines like this, it's this big. So it's more it's like written out in like lines. Later on though, I think there are Chinese, like this one. This is a star chart. This is like an ancient Chinese star chart. I don't know if it's ancient, but it is a star chart, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, let's do some research. The so-called 3 stars each list, but represents an expanded version based on a more accurate observation, likely around 1000 BCE. Text lists the names of 66 stars and constellations, and further gives a number of indications such as rising, setting, and culmination dates. Wait, that's sick. So this means that they didn't necessarily draw what the constellations look like, but they were able to be like, oh, on this date, at this time, this constellation is going to rise from the horizon. Which is pretty cool, because that is like one of the ways that people reckon time, like how people you know, like a day is pretty straightforward. A day is when the sun goes up and then the sun goes down. That is a day, right? Well, by our definition nowadays, it's like 24 hours, and that is like, that's marked by one rotation of the earth, right? And then a year is one revolution around one revolution around the sun, right? So we have the day, and we have a day, we have a year, but those are pretty easy to like reckon, unless you ask the time cube people. Oh no, what's tell me about their reckoning of time. This has me worried. So yeah, even without knowledge of like the 24-hour, well, that's another thing, is that ancient people did have the knowledge of like a 24-hour day, because they were able to like do the math and all that good stuff. But the sun is how you reckon both the day and the year. But then how do you reckon a month? How do you reckon a year? Like why did we decide that like we should be spacing out our days into 7-day intervals, and then that's sort of another week, right? Actually, in different cultures, not every culture would do that. I think in certain cultures in Mesoamerica, they had a trecena, which I think is 13 days. Let's look it up real quick. Let me duplicate this and look up trecena. 13-day period. So instead of like a 7-day week, they had, and this is from Spanish trece, this is a 13-day period. So it's almost like they had like, their week was like 13 days. And I know that seems like, oh no, that means they have such a long work week. We gotta get rid of the idea that there was like any kind of like work week that mirrors what we have nowadays. It's not like they would work for, you know, like 11 days straight and only have like a 2-day weekend. They probably had their periods of work and periods of rest within that 13-day thing, but this is basically how they broke apart their time. Can you imagine though? Can you imagine like if our weeks were like 13 days? That'd be insane. Like, now if our weeks were 13 days, I feel like they would make it so that like, what, it'd be like a 3-day weekend all the time, or like a 4-day weekend all the time, you know, and then the rest of it would be work. But yeah, this is a trecena, and each day, I remember I did have to study this for work as well. Each day has like a specific name and then specific deities. Ooh, let's see if I can pronounce some of these. We have Cipactli, the day of the crocodile. The Aztec deity is Tonaka Tecutli. And then the next one is one Ocelot, like an ocelot. Get it? Ocelot. The deity would be Quetzalcoatl, Masatl, Xochitl, Acatl, Miquitztli, Quiahuitl, Malinali, Coatl, Tecpatl, Osomatli, Quetzpalin, Olin, Itzcuintli, Kayi. Oh, this one looks hard. Cosca Quautli, Atl, Ecatl, Quautli, and Tochtli. Revolver Ocelot. I like doing the TL sound because once you get the hang of it, it's actually pretty fun to say. Like, it's not axel. It's for this one, for example, it's not ocelotl. You know how like people say axolotl. The last TL is actually, how did my coworker describe it to me? It's like you bring your tongue up to like the roof of your mouth, but the place where your gums connects to your teeth. You know, like if you think about your two front teeth. Oh, we have an ad break coming up. Let me. No, I don't want to snooze it because I'm gonna run out of snoozes when I really need it. I'll try to explain it really quickly. So your two front teeth at the very beginning, behind those two front teeth, there's a place where the gums are connecting, right? Put your tongue there, and then it's almost like you're pushing air out as you're saying the TL. So it's tl 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 tl. Like you're trying to say like TL all together, and while you're doing that, you're pushing air out the sides of your tongue. So instead of like axolotl, it's axolotl. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. But it's fun to say. It's fun to say once you get the hang of it. So, not axolotl, axolotl. You hear it? Like I said, your tongue just has to be connected to like that part of your gums that connects to your two front teeth. Anyway, the ad break is gonna start soon. I'll put you guys in recess. Be good. Practice your TL sounds, and then we'll do more research when we get back. Okay, we're back. We're back. You guys were good. You guys didn't need any cars today. I'm so proud of you. Let's go ahead and get back to class. What were we talking about? Oh, we were talking about... Oh, that's right. We were talking about the tresena. We were talking about pronouncing your TLs. Your TL sounds. Did you guys practice during the break? I really don't know of any other way to... My coworker, when she was teaching me how to pronounce the TL, she did it in such a like clear way. And now I'm like struggling to remember how she did it. Because... I guess another way that you can try to practice the TL sound is not seeing how it is at the end of a word, like ocelot, but maybe in the middle of a word or the beginning of the word. So there's this god here. I love this one. His name is Tlaloc. If you're not used to saying the TL, you might say Tlaloc. It's almost like a Tlaloc, but it's you need to try to if you wanna get that sound a little bit more accurate. And by the way, I'm not claiming that the way that I'm doing it is also 100% accurate. It's very possible that someone who's like a fluent Nahuatl speaker would be like, no, actually that's not it either. And I totally welcome that. I totally welcome that. But at least like getting a better understanding of that that phoneme, that sound, the TL sound. You can start with this god's name, Tlaloc, because yeah, it wouldn't be Tlaloc. You want to try and imagine that the two sounds are just merging together, the T and the L. Because if you see where your tongue is when you say T, it could be anywhere from like that that place where your gum connects to the back of your tooth for your two front teeth, to the tip of your tooth, tip of the tooth. Bear around, yeah. He's I think he's fluent, right? He's fluent in Nahuatl. So if you see where your tongue is when you're saying the T sound, and then where your tongue is when you're saying the L sound, L, right? Your tongue is right at the tip, right, of your teeth. So T. So try to practice going from the T sound to the L sound without any kind of gap in the middle. So you go from T, right? So your tongue, the tip of your tongue is going from a little bit more to the top of the teeth, more to the tip of your teeth, if that makes sense. So top of the teeth, T, tip of the teeth, L, T, and then now you attach an A to that. Tla. What makes it a little bit easier is if you are pushing out air around your tongue as you're saying it. Like that's the best tip that I can really give. Like I said, I feel like someone can explain it a little bit clearer, but the best way is to try and be pushing out air from around your tongue. Tla. Tlaloc. So that's one way to try and practice it. I'm sure there's other like videos that go over it a little bit better, but then once you get the hang of that, then you can start saying the TL sound at the end of words. So instead of like this one right here, let me see if I can zoom in. This wouldn't be coatl, it would be coatl. Yeah, that's just my understanding of how to pronounce it. All of this from us talking about the tresena, right? But this is also a really good concept of just going over like, yeah, different cultures will break up time and their understanding of time in different ways. So we might be used to like a 7-day week. They had a 13-day week. It doesn't even say week here, but 13-day period. So it's another way to reckon your time, right? I think the reason why this is so important, like these conversations of like, how did people reckon their time, is because, for one, these civilizations did need to know a fair bit of math to even recognize that a day is 24 hours, but that there's also some leftover time. So the whole concept of a leap year is very interesting too, because how is it that we figured out that like if you that our understanding of a year is actually slightly off? There's actually so much leftover time within a year, because it's not a perfect like 365 days. It's like 365 days and a little bit of change. So we make up for the difference by having a leap day after every 4 years. So that's how much time we kind of lose each year, that we can actually make a whole new day. That's February 29th. But other cultures were also aware. Yes, exactly, April, and leap seconds. Yeah. So it took a while, but like civilizations did eventually realize that there are both leap years and leap seconds. Even the leap day every 4 years isn't enough to make it completely accurate. Exactly, because, oh my gosh, what is it? It's like every 10 years there isn't a leap day. We're already on Wikipedia. Leap day. Here, leap year. Yeah, it's true, because every 4 years you get a leap day, but every 20 years you don't. But then every like 400 days, that's like the exception to the rule. I forgot what it was. This is probably gonna say it. Julian Reform, 29th of February, folk traditions, birthdays. Oh wow. Leap shifting of the Jalali calendar. Yeah, so as you can see, different calendars around the world will do that a little bit differently. Oh my god, I think this is it. Okay, I think here. Over the period of 4 centuries, the accumulated error of adding a leap year every four years accounts to about 3 extra days. The Gregorian calendar therefore omits three leap years every 400 years, which is the length of its leap cycle. This is done by omitting February 29th every 3 century years, multiples of 100, that are not multiples of 400. The years 2000s and 2400 are leap years, but not 1700, 1800, 1900, 2100, 2200, and 2300. By this rule, an entire leap cycle is 400 years, which totals 146,097 days. So that's like crazy. I remember my astronomy professor explaining that. It was like, well, yeah, so every 4 years we get a leap day, except every here, leap years occur every 4 years, but every 100 years we skip a leap year unless the year is divisible by 400. It's like so exact. Like we're constantly correcting for our calendar because there's just not an exact number of seconds and minutes and hours within a year. It's cool that that's a thing, and it's cool that people figured out the math to get it right. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. So I think that's pretty cool. Once again, like the whole thing with just like reckoning time within different cultures, because this whole Wikipedia article shows how they do it in the Islamic calendar, the Chinese calendar, the Hebrew calendar, Baha'i calendar. So I just think that's neat. So let's go back to the Mulapin. Oh yeah, so all that to come back to this point of like this ancient tablet, the Mulapin, was able to correctly predict when certain constellations would rise up from the horizon at dawn or at midnight or something like that. And that was one of the ways that people would reckon time, because for some people, like I said, you could reckon a day or a year pretty easily based off like the rotation and the revolution around the sun. But then how do you reckon seasons? How do you reckon weeks and months and stuff like that? There's a theory that well, not a theory, but like certain there are certain cultures that follow a lunar calendar, right? That they follow the cycle of the moon. The cycle of the moon is actually, there are connections between the cycle of the moon, which goes from like full moon to new moon to full moon again. I forgot what it was, but that cycle is about 28 days. 28 days is also the approximate cycle for a woman's menstrual period. So like there's a lot of connections between like women and like lunar cycles and stuff like that. And apparently, I don't know if this is still true, one of the first evidences that we have of a calendar is a piece of bone that dates back to, I want to say, Neolithic times, and it has 28 hatch marks in it. Like someone scratched out 28 marks in it. So this is like probably one of the first examples of like a calendar, a way of like recording time. But the theory is that that was probably made by a woman, because the response is, why would a man need to know anything that is 28 days long? Because a woman might need to, or someone with a uterus would need to know it because they're tracking their period. They're tracking their menstrual cycle. So I don't know. I think that's pretty cool too. This Greg guy must have been real smart to figure out this whole calendar thing by himself. I know, all Greg and no Julian, am I right? Friendship ended with Julian. My new best friend is Greg. Orion. Calendar. But yeah, so for some cultures, they would be like, oh, it's spring because the constellation of the plow is ascending from the horizon at this time of year. So I think that's pretty cool. Let's see. The text rents 2 tablets and possibly a 3rd auxiliary tablet, and is organized as follows: catalog of asterisms, which are like kind of like constellations, but not really. Like the Big Dipper is an example of an asterism, but it's part of a bigger constellation, which is Ursa Major. Dates of heliacal rise. I don't know what that is. Heliacal rises in the Babylonian calendar, simultaneous rises and settings, time intervals between heliacal risings. Oh, sometimes cultures would also try to track the setting of Venus. I'm actually wondering if I can show you what I mean by this. You know what? Just to be safe, I'm gonna test something out. Yes. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. Okay. Back to real time. Pause, unpause time. Let me see something real quick. I want to accelerate time. It's what I'm doing. There's a way on the Stellarium website to is there a way to accelerate time? Shiopi, hello. We're doing a little bit of research in astronomy. Okay, so I think this is just letting us go through, Oh, yeah, we could do this. Oh, let me show you guys something that I think is pretty cool. You guys know the zodiac, right? Like, you guys know your star signs? Get rotated, folk. Get rotated, everyone. So you guys know the zodiac, right? There's like, ooh, look at that. Shooting star. Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky are like shooting stars? I can really use a wish right now. Just fast forward the stream. Archibald, hello. Hello. Welcome. We are doing a little bit of research today. We're talking about astronomy stuff. I want to show you guys something cool. So the zodiac, right? Lots of people might know their sign. I'm a Sagittarius. I'm also in the Chinese zodiac. I'm the year of the horse, the Hons. How that is determined, it's not just random. It's not like like Ted Cruz's Zodiac Killer. No. How that is determined is, I'm gonna show you guys something. Let's turn off the atmosphere. Let's look for the zodiac here. The zodiac is actually a ring of constellations. So here we go. Sagittarius, there's Scorpio. Let's do away with the Earth for now. Here we go. It's going this way. Maybe if I do this. No, if I do that. No. Okay, so here's Sagittarius, here's Capricorn, here's Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, the bull, Gemini, the twins, Cancer, the crab, Leo, the lion, Virgo, the virgin, Libra, the scale, Scorpio, the scorpion, and then we're back here to Sagittarius. So it makes this ring around the Earth, right? So when people say that their sign is Sagittarius, it means that on the date and time of their birth, Sagittarius was over the sun. So actually, like, look at this right now. Technically, right now, this date that we are in right now, September 5th, the sun is currently in the constellation of Leo. Like, you see the lion, right? Like, the sun is currently in that constellation. technically speaking. However, that's not the case. I think right now we're actually in I think it's Virgo season. I think it's Virgo season, yeah. The reason being is because like I said before, like the stars and constellations have actually shifted over time. So back when the zodiac was still like being formulated and becoming like a thing, basically, the sun would have been in Virgo. Like if you went to like September 5th, but not 2025, but like let's say 2025 BCE, then the sun would have actually been within the constellation of Virgo. But because the stars and everything have drifted, eventually it's become disaligned. I am Crab Snake Bear Wizard. Oh, nice. So you are Cancer the Crab, you're the Snake, and a Bear Wizard. So yeah, like the if you were to travel back in time to September 5th, but 2025 BCE, before the Common Era, then yeah, the sun would have been in this constellation, but it's drifted since then. So technically we would be in Leo season, but we're actually still in Virgo season, you know? Isn't there also a secret unlockable 13 zodiac sign? That's something that people hated, so we don't count it. Yeah, it's Ophiuchus, and it's funny because I'm in the sign of Ophiuchus. So I'll show you what I mean by showing you my birthday. So I was born all the way back in the year of our bear, 1999. Oh no, we need to go up. 12? Oh, 8. So let's look for the sun. The sun should be in this constellation, Sagittarius, right? But actually, it's right. Oh no, it's not under the. It's under the crotch. It's like, it's within this sign. He is the snake bearer. Oh, bearer. Like, he is the one who wields snakes. His name is Ophiuchus. So yeah, this is actually like people would consider him like the 13th constellation. But for one reason or another, people don't count it. I don't think it's because people, okay, it might be because like, you know, snakes have a negative reputation, especially within Christianity. You know, the serpent is evil, is the devil, blah, blah, blah. But I also think it's just more of like 12 is just a nicer number to be divisible. Like, you could divide 12 into 3, you could divide 12 into 4, you could divide it into 2, you could divide it into 6. It's a nice even number that splits up like well, because like when you have to split the sky, or if you have to split something up into like 12s, it's just very convenient. Because for example, if you take a look at the zodiac, and if we're talking about astrology, there is 4 different like elements that people break up the 12 zodiac signs into. So like there's 3 signs that are fire signs, there's 3 signs that are air signs, there's 3 signs that are water, and there's 3 signs that are earth signs. Because 12 is nice and divisible, right? If there's a 13th sign, then it's like, how do you divide that into anything? How do you categorize that? Basically what I'm saying is that 12 is nice because you can categorize things with the number 12. But with 13, it gets confusing. It's a prime number and people don't like that. So I don't know how much sense that makes, but yeah, technically speaking, there's kind of like a 13th sign, but basically what I'm saying is when I was born, on this date, the sun was technically in the constellation of Ophiuchus, but also in the constellation of Scorpio. So that's saying that basically I would be a Scorpio. I don't identify as a Scorpio, but but yeah, that's kind of the dealio with that. I remember in the 2010s there was a big freak out over people learning about the 13th sign and how they technically aren't the sign they thought yeah, they weren't the sign that they based their whole identity on. Yeah, that's why I have the stance that I have when it comes to astrology, is because it's fun to talk about. It's a nice hee hee ha ha. Like, it's a nice way to kind of theorize on your own personality and stuff. But when you cater your whole personality over your star sign, I don't know, it just feels like you're setting yourself up for like for disappointment, or you're putting some weird expectations on yourself and your connections to other people, because there are people who are like, oh yeah, I only have Libras on my work. Like it's really bad if you're like in a position of power and it's like I only hire people that are Libras. I only hire water signs because we all meld together really well. Like that. First of all, that's discrimination. Second of all, that's just weird because people aren't always gonna be like those personality traits that we ascribe to these signs, right? I didn't identify with my sign for a very long time. Like I'm a Sagittarius. But I sure as hell don't identify as a Scorpio either. I think the stereotype, by the way, with Scorpios is that they're intimidating. Like they're brooding and they're secretive and they're intimidating, and I don't see myself as intimidating at all. I'm just a little guy. I'm just a little guy. But I didn't really identify as a Sagittarius either because like they say that Sagittariuses are more like lively and outgoing, and I've always been more introverted than anything. One thing that did come true though is they say that Sagittariuses like to travel. I do like traveling. Now that I have the income to travel, like I do indeed enjoy traveling. But it's also like if you have that kind of income, like who wouldn't like getting away for a little bit? Anyway. Don't use astrology as diet prejudice. Exactly. It's fun to talk about, but this isn't Oblivion, and we don't get better magic generation under the sign we're born under. Exactly. Right? So, but yeah, that's kind of the origin of the zodiac. Is that like the sun and the planets are all on this kind of disc, which so happens to also have the zodiac signs. If something weird were to happen to the gravity of the solar system and we get like a new zodiac, because the zodiac could have been going like, because the zodiac currently, I wish there was like a line that I could show you. Like the zodiac goes in this direction. It goes in the direction of, like I said, Scorpio to Sagittarius to Aquarius. It goes like in this direction. But let's say that it goes in like this direction. Then our signs would instead be like the hawk, the fox, the swan, the old guy, the chick with the mirror, the warrior, the bull, the Orion, the snake. I actually don't know what this is. The clock. You know, what's your guys' sign? Mine's is the old guy. But yeah, I'm a old guy rising, and so you're saying that we might get new cast members in season 5? Yeah, if we get a strong enough gravity machine, like, you know, just f our whole ish up, you know, just change gravity so that, oh man, we could get someone could be like in the Medusa sign. Do you guys want you guys want to be born under Medusa? There's a giraffe. I'm a giraffe. I love that. That's one of my favorite vines, is the one where it's like a bunch of skiers taking a picture and they're like, say cheese, and then a guy in a in a giraffe like onesie just, I'm a giraffe. Like that's what he does. He just zips through. See, that could be you guys. That could be you guys. Your star sign is Almatis VT, the old man who likes old things. Exactly. That also means that, like, in another universe, we could have had the dragon as a sign, the bear. Oh, this is the baby bear. I was like, this doesn't look like the baby bear. This is the baby bear with the long, the long tail. We could have had a bear sign, you guys, but instead we're stuck with scorpions and some kind of water goat. And a guy with water. See, one of you guys could have been this. Okay, so it's actually supposed to be a whale, but like that. Like, it's just so funny looking. Yeah, I think astronomy and astrology is neat. And crab, yeah, we got crabs. So speaking of, the origin of the zodiac is very interesting because you can see, like, our version of the zodiac, you can actually see it as far back as ancient Egypt. And I'm gonna show you the proof. There's this ancient Egyptian coffin. I don't know if this is, I don't think any of them are big enough. It's the goddess Nut. She is surrounded by all these symbols of the zodiac. I think this might be the biggest that we're gonna get. Robot traffic. Okay. This is a recreation. I don't think it was 19th century. There was one that was from like... Unless this is a recreation. Coffin details, zodiac signs. Okay, Getty images. 2nd century. So it's not quite BCE, but it's still pretty old. But there is an Egyptian coffin that has all of the symbols of the zodiac. I'm just trying to find like a good quality picture of it. I think, let's do this. Tools, large. Is this, there's no way this is the biggest one. No, there's no way Twitter has the biggest one. Okay, I guess Twitter has the biggest one. Let's see if we can zoom in on this. What is this song that's playing? Okay, so this is the goddess Nut. She is the sky god, or she's like the goddess of the sky and the especially the night sky. In ancient Egyptian, traditionally, like older ancient Egyptian, like I'll just show you. Egyptian goddess Nut. She's usually shown like this with her husband, her father. I think I told you guys this myth before. It's a raunchy one. This goddess Nut, she is she's usually depicted with her whole body is the night sky, and basically her lover and brother was the earth, Geb. So Nut the sky and Geb the earth, they were lovers, and they loved each other so much that they were constantly embracing one another, and they were embracing each other so tightly that when Nut had inevitably become pregnant with Geb's children, the children couldn't exit. They couldn't actually be born because they were embracing each other so tightly. So what had happened is their father, I think this is Shu, or Tefnut is their mother. So their father, Shu, who was the atmosphere, split them apart like so. So he's holding up his daughter, Nut. And underneath him is the earth, is Geb. So he split them apart, and that actually allowed her children to be born. Door stuck! So yeah, that's like I said, it's like kind of a raunchy story, but that's also kind of the ancient Egyptian explanation as to why we the sky and the earth are separated by atmosphere. It's like there's a literal kind of like interpretation of like, oh, the atmosphere separates the sky and the earth from each other. So that's Nut, the goddess. So she's usually depicted like as the sky itself with like stars on her body. So this coffin has her. So remember that she is like a star goddess. She's like a sky goddess. So all around her are familiar faces, worn out places. So all around her are the zodiac. So let's actually take a closer look. Let's start here. So we have Pisces the fish, followed by Aries the ram, even though it doesn't quite look like a ram. Then we have Taurus, the bull. Over here we have Gemini the twins. Here we have Cancer the crab. And then what comes after the Cancer again? We have the bull. Here we have the ram, the bull, the twins, the crab, the lion. It's this one. So up here we have, okay, so it's gonna get a little harder because it's upside down, but we have the lion. I believe this is the virgin, or is it the water bearer? Yeah, it's the virgin, the scales, the scorpion, and then the saggy, the Sagittarius. So the virgin, the scales, the scorpion, the archer, who's also depicted as a centaur, and then Capricorn, they always say Capricorn the goat, but it's always Capricorn the goat that is also like a fish. Like, I'll show you. Capricorn, the fish goat, the dude. And then after that, I believe is Pisces again, right? No. Capricorn. Why am I losing? Oh, it's this way. Oh, it's Aquarius. It's Aquarius and then it's Pisces. So we have the goat, and then we have the water bear. Do we have the water bear? Oh, here he is. He's right here. The water bearer and Pisces. So yeah, the eater. So this whole zodiac dates back to at least the 2nd century of the Common Era. The water bear. Tardigrades are a zodiac? No, it's because of my accent. I'm not emphasizing the last ER part. Water bearer. Bearer. He bears water. So yeah, as you can see, the zodiac as we know it. And the thing is, there's other versions of the zodiac as well, where I think they replace the crab with the lobster. So some of you, I think folk, you're born under Cancer the crab, you could also be a lobster. So you see that in like medieval times. They are more prone to depicting Cancer the crab as Cancer the lobster. I feel like Cancer the crab just rolls off the tongue a little bit easier, but what do I know as a simple bear, right? Let's see what else. See, we looked at the mulapin. Either way, I got pinchers. Exactly. Actually, I like the way, so this is the technical explanation for what the zodiac is. A belt-shaped region of the sky that extends approximately 8 degrees north and south, celestial latitude and of the ecliptic, the apparent path of the sun across the celestial sphere over the course of the year. So basically what that is saying is, over the course of the year, the sun travels along this line. I don't know how to make time pass. I want time to go, like, faster. Because I want to show you guys the motion of it. Give me a second. I wanna try out something. No. It's asking me to log in if I do that. And I don't want to. But yeah, going back to the whole like zodiac thing. Eventually we all evolve into crabs. Lobster. M. Zoidberg. Going back with the whole thing of like, oh, your zodiac sign is determined by like where the sun is in the sky. Same thing with the planets. So if you've ever heard like an astrology girly or guy like talk about how like, oh, I'm a Sagittarius sun, but I'm a Gemini rising and I'm a Libra moon. What that means is where for example the moon is when you're born. And your rising sign is actually where the horizon is at. So that's why you actually need your birth time to be able to tell when your rising sign is. So it's the whole thing with astrology too. So once again, this is a pseudoscience, but it's fun in my opinion. That's my opinion. I love that vine too. Maybe I feel like that should be a redeem. That should be a redeem. Like, I want to show you guys the vine. That's my opinion! Every time that I say something that's like, you know, like, this might not be objectively correct, but this is how, in my opinion, that's what I think. That's my opinion. Vine. This one. No! Uber! That's you guys. Me when I say like that's just my opinion. You guys, that's how you guys look at me. That's how you look at me. Carcinization, let's go. Anyway, guys, I like astrology and I think it's neat. Okay. So I think it's neat. But yeah, so your rising sign is determined by which one of these astrological signs is at the horizon when you're born. At least I think. At least I think that's how it works. So that's why you need your birth time. I'm not gonna tell you my birth time, but let's just say, let's bring back the landscape. Let's say I was born on this time. What? I don't know 24-hour time, you guys. I'm not used to 24-hour time. 8 p.m. Let's say that I was born 8 p.m. December 8, 1990. So the constellation that is at the horizon currently is Capricorn. However, on the other side of the horizon, there is another constellation that is there, and that is Gemini, the twins. So I think it's going in a certain direction. It's like literally, it's called rising because it's the constellation that's rising this way. So actually, what's handy is, yeah, I was actually born Gemini. My rising sign is a Gemini. And if you want to know a little thing about like, well, what does it mean to have a sign that is your rising sign? They say that your sun sign, once again, take this with a grain of salt. Your sun sign is your core personality. Like that's just who you are. Things like your Venus sign, like where Venus was on the zodiac, that has to do with like how you process and navigate relationships and love and stuff like that. Your moon sign, aka where the moon was when you were born, that is your emotional personality. That is like, let's say that if you're a Sagittarius sun, like the stereotypes around Sagittarius is that they're outgoing, they're kind of flirty, they like to travel, they don't like staying in one place, right? But let's say that your moon sign is something like Taurus. Taurus, the stereotypes for that is that you're stubborn. So you might be like a Sagittarius in that you are yeah, you like to like travel around a lot, but emotionally you might be a little bit stubborn with people. Your rising sign is an interesting one because your rising sign is apparently, quote unquote, the mask that you show other people. So you could be a Sagittarius at your core, but if your rising sign is a Gemini, then people, like, when they first meet you, they're like, oh, they kind of seem like a Gemini. If they're like, if they really know their like zodiac stereotypes. I actually don't know the stereotypes for Gemini. I think it's that they're two-faced, but they're also like into different they're liable to like be interested in a lot of different things at once. So they might seem kind of flighty, you know? So it's like when people first meet you, they're like, "Oh, you seem kind of flighty. You seem kind of two-faced. You seem like a Gemini." But it actually, once you get to know that person more, you realize, "Oh, they're a Sagittarius." I feel like this would be a much more effective explanation if I actually knew the stereotypes around each sign, but I don't. So yeah, that's what that's what all that astrology mumbo jumbo means. I just think it's neat. What if the time of my womb eviction was scheduled, or if you were like premature baby, right? Or if you're like me, you were never born. What's the Hamlet thing? Or Macbeth thing where it's like, you will never be killed by a man born from a woman. And it's like, joke's on you. I was a C-section, therefore I was never born. Like, I was also a C-section baby, so technically I was never born. Oh no. Yeah, so that's not astrology stuff. But the zodiac itself is pretty cool because these are the constellations that are traveling on the same path as our sun travels throughout the day. So that's pretty cool. Capricorn, Sagittarius, Scorpio, Libra, Virgo, Leo, Cancer, Gemini, Taurus, Aries, Pisces, Aquarius. C-section Sagittarius gang, let's go. I know, I love it. I do like being a Sagittarius. I'm a Gemini rising though. I forget what my moon sign is. I think I'm either a Libra or a Virgo. I forgot. Look, a 6th century mosaic with all of the signs. Oh wait, this is adorable. I kind of want to zoom in on this. Wait, this is so neat. What is this from? Beth Alpha? Oh, Greek Byzantine. Ah, interesting. So this is the lion, right? Okay, we have we have Aries the ram, Taurus the bull, Gemini the twins, Cancer the crab, Leo the lion, Virgo the virgin, Libra the scales, Scorpio, the Scorpion, Sagittarius, the Archer. It's not a centaur. What the heck? I've never seen Sagittarius not be a centaur. Oh, and Capricorn, no, it's been scratched out. Aquarius, the water bearer, and Pisces, the fish. When do I need to be womb evicted to have a cool eldritch star sign like Shub of the black goat of the woods with 1,000 young? I'm not sure. You might need to go into one of those like alternate dimensions where we have the whale or the old man zodiac sign, right? So that's the Western zodiac. Now let's talk about the Chinese zodiac, which I actually learned a little bit recently about the Chinese zodiac, because with the Chinese zodiac, it for one follows the lunar calendar. It does, okay, because like we're supposed to be talking about ancient astronomy, right? So like we've been talking about the zodiac, which is more like pseudoscience astrology, but something that's pretty cool that is connected to astronomy is that with the Western zodiac, it changes every month or so, right? So like 1 month would be Sagittarius season, and then the next month would be Capricorn season. Here in the Chinese zodiac, it changes every year. So you would be born under the year of the dragon, the year of the rabbit, the year of the tiger, etc., etc. Be born on a leap year. I think that still follows the Chinese zodiac one, right? So yeah, you would be born under that. The only thing, something that people always, not always, like obviously like people that like practice with the zodiac know, but the zodiac for the Chinese zodiac actually doesn't change until the Lunar New Year, until like whether you say Chinese or Vietnamese New Year. So if you are born on January or even early February of a year, you are actually the preceding animal, if that makes sense. So for example, I was born in 1990. I am born under the year of the horse. So the next year, 1991, is the year of the ram or the sheep. Beans is actually the year of the ram because he was born in 1991. So you would think that if you were born January of 1991, you were the year of the sheep. Nope, incorrect. You're actually the year of the horse. You're actually a fellow horse. And sometimes it depends. It could also be early February. Basically, it's whenever the Lunar New Year falls under. So, yeah, if you're born January, you're actually the preceding animal. So if you're January of 1991, you are the year of the horse. If you're January of 1992, you are not the year of the monkey. You're the year of the sheep or the ram. So yeah, take that into consideration. You might have to look up, if you were born in that season, you might have to look up when the Lunar New Year was. But if you were born in like March to December, you're pretty squarely like in that year. Kale, you love the Chinese zodiac? Nice. Yeah, exactly, Peck School. Well, you have to, if you don't mind me, so you're born February 3rd. You might have to look at when the Lunar New Year was, when in the year of your birth. So you don't have to tell us in chat the year of your birth, but look it up. Look up when the Lunar New Year was, because maybe the Lunar New Year was in late January, so you still might be year of the horse. Middle of the year birthday makes it easier for me. Yeah, exactly. So you're pretty squarely in that year. And sometimes it's like a pet peeve because September 24, I'm scaled. Yeah, you're good. You're good. Yeah, Shiopi, we were talking about the... Oh, wait. Are we talking about the Western Zodiac or the Eastern Zodiac? Because we talked about the Western Zodiac where, yeah, Ophiuchus, the snake, is... or the snake bearer, is the 13th of the Western Zodiac. Is there a 13th Eastern Zodiac too? Is it the cat? Is it Kyosoma from Fruits Basket? Does he finally get his time in the sun? Or is it the Jade Emperor? Wait, tell me more, Shiopi. There's a 13th sign in the Chinese? Is it the Jade Emperor? Is it the cat? Is it... Well, I know like in the Vietnamese one, the rabbit is replaced by the cat. But tell me more. I'm so curious. But yeah, so one pet peeve of mine is when people are like, "Oh, Happy New Year! Happy New Year! It's 2025! Yay! It's the year." I actually don't know what this year is. Like, what is 2025 Chinese zodiac? The snake. Before the snake, it's the... I believe? The dragon, yeah. You know Fruits Basket? The manga Fruits Basket? For a while, I actually did memorize the order of the animals because of Fruits Basket, but I've since forgotten it. I just know who is on either side of the horse because I'm the year of the horse. So I know the snake is before me and the ram is after me. Because the lore of how the order of the animals... The cat. Ah, so Kyosoma from Fruits Basket does get his year. Aww. Yeah, do you guys know the story? If you guys didn't watch Fruits Basket as a kid and have it damage you irreparably emotionally as a middle schooler, like, do you guys know the mythology of like, or the story as to why it's in that order? Because it's a pretty neat story. We are indeed horses. Oh, nice. I know, Pexcool, would have been so strange if you were actually the year of the snake this whole time, you know? Umapyoi, umapyoi, ooh, umapyoi, umapyoi. Because, so the Jade Emperor, according to the legend, the Jade Emperor had issued a challenge, or he had a feast for various animals, and he said, let's make it a race. Whoever gets to my palace first gets to partake in this feast. So the on the day of the competition, the rat ended up, what is it? All the animals were racing to the Jade Palace, and the rat was on top of the bull, the bull over here, not Taurus, the bull. So he was on top, and then as soon as the bull was close to the finish line, the rat hopped off and became the first, followed by the bull, followed by, what is this? The tiger? Like, I actually can't tell. No, the tiger's all the way over here. Oh no, this is the bull. This is the bull. This is the boar. So followed by the tiger, followed by the rabbit, and then the dragon. I think the snake was riding on top of the horse or something like that. Then the ram, the monkey, the chicken, and then finally the dog and the boar. I think it was something like the dog would have been earlier, but he was too busy playing. And then, was it something like the boar overslept? And then, according to Fruits Basket, there was also a cat. Yeah, the rat was riding on the ox. Oh yeah, so Shiopi's telling the story. Lore is that there was a race between the animals, and the order that they reached the finish line would determine the order. But the cat was lazy and slept and didn't cross the finish line. Yeah, so they said that in Fruits Basket too, because I keep on mentioning Fruits Basket. If you guys don't know that anime, it's a really old one, but it's literally one of my favorites. It touches my heart every time. The author is just so good at making me cry. It's about a cursed family that whenever they're embraced by an opposite member of the opposite sex, they transform into like a member of the zodiac. So like if you hug this little girl, she becomes a tiger. If you hug this hot guy, he becomes a dog. The way they did the dragon was funny because in Japanese mythology, they believe that seahorses are baby dragons. Baby dragon! So when you hug this one guy, he would become a seahorse. So... You haven't watched it? Ah, it's so good. It's so good. But it's be prepared for tears on tears. For fears. But they do tell the story in that one. And one of the plot points is that there's a character who represents the cat, which isn't traditionally part of the zodiac, but he represents the cat. So when he's hugged by a member of the opposite sex, he's transformed into a cat. But he is because the people with this curse are all part of like a big family, like a big like super big family. But he is excluded and he's like shunned because he's the cat, and to be born under the sign of the cat is like shameful, and you're seen as like cursed and stuff. So it's a fun romp, that manga, that anime. It's so good. It's so good. But yeah, the cat is part of the mythology in that, and there's always a rivalry between the cat and the rat because apparently the rat was the one that was supposed to wake up the cat so that it would cross the finish line. But they never did it, so they're eternal enemies. Aww. So I kept on teasing the fact that there is something related astronomically to this, right? There is, and I thought that it was just that the Chinese population, you know, that population, they decided that instead of a zodiac that changes every month, that they decided it would change every year. It's actually for a different reason. It's because in ancient China, they were really good at tracking the cycles of other planets. So Venus, I don't know about Mercury, but Mars and Jupiter. So Jupiter is a big one because the time it takes for Jupiter to complete a year, as in a revolution around the sun, is approximately 5 Earth years. Actually, let me actually check if that's true. Jovian year. Oh, it's 11 Earth years. So maybe it's 12 years. Oh, yeah. So it's a little into like about 12 Earth years is one Jovian year or one Jupiter year. So, I forgot like how that was reckoned. So basically, this is following the cycle of Jupiter. So it changes every it changes every year because each cycle completes after 12 years. So it's actually following a Jovian or a Jupiter year. I don't quite know how to explain it in like an easy way, but basically think of it like this. The cycle of the Western zodiac, it completes within 1 year. The cycle of the Chinese zodiac completes within 12 years. In order to get from the rat to the rat again, that's 12 years. That's the same cycle as a Jovian year, as a Jupiter year. But anyway, HDTQW5, hello. We're talking a little bit about astronomy and astrology. There was a year that FF14's New Year event that follows the Lunar New Year that someone tried replacing the animal of that with the year of the cat. Ah. That's cute though, to put the cat in there. It's the Western zodiac of Jupiter. Exactly. So yeah, I hope I don't know if I explained it clear enough, but yeah, like the Western zodiac follows 1 year. The Eastern zodiac, the Chinese zodiac, follows 12 years because it's following a Jupiter year. Yeah, I think that's another cool thing about like ancient astronomy, since that is like the main topic for today, is that like ancient peoples were really good at tracking the stars and the planets because once again, I wish there was a time that I could like accelerate time for you guys to show you just how like when no, actually I'll do this. Let me take away the atmosphere, take away the landscape, make it back to today. If I do this, I know actually this is what if I do this? Where's Jupiter? Here, Saturn. I don't quite know how to like show you guys what I'm talking about, but basically if you imagine that you are an ancient person, imagine that you time travel back to ancient Egypt, or you lived in ancient Egyptian times. Every single night you go out and you look up at the sky and you see the stars. And let's say that you start to get out your piece of trusty papyrus paper, and you get out your feather quill with ink, and you start to draw out where each of the stars are. So let's go to the constellation. Let's take away these drawings here. What's like a recognizable? Oh, here, the summer triangle, my favorite. So you see that these are like the brightest stars in the sky, especially during the summertime, right? So you're charting these out. So you're drawing Altair, you're drawing Vega, you're drawing Deneb. And then you might draw some other constellations. So every single night, every time you find these stars again, they are pretty stuck in the sky. If you actually track it throughout the night, they are moving. Like if I were to move this hour by hour, they are moving. Actually, this might be better. Yeah, so, you know, I'm moving it minute by minute. They are moving. But there is something that is moving a little bit faster, and it's the planets. The planets are moving a little bit faster. So let's say that you're looking up at the sky, and then suddenly, planet Saturn is right smack dab in the middle. Oh, and no, an ad break. I'll snooze it this time. Saturn is smack dab in the middle. So if you are an ancient person and you're tracking the movement of the stars over time, you're going to notice that certain bodies are not staying still. They're moving, they're wandering. And actually that's where the word planets comes from. Planet comes from the, I think, Latin or Greek root meaning wanderer. They are wandering across the night sky because they're moving around while everything else is stuck in the sky. So once ancient peoples realized that, they started tracking the pathways of these planets. So they would track the path of Saturn as it goes through the sky. And because Saturn and all the other planets are revolving around the sun, they are not always going to be going in a straight line. Sometimes they're going to appear to be going backwards, and that's what retrograde is. So let me actually show you what that looks like. So when there's mercury in the Gatorade, it actually does mean something. It's not going to affect us, but I'll show you what it means. Retrograde. I wish there was I think there's a picture of Mercury in retrograde. Basically what this means is that it looks like Mercury is going reverse, but that's not actually what's happening. Oh, come on. Oh, here we go. This is a really good picture. So if you are tracking the precession or like how Mercury is moving across the sky, it's going to look like one night it's here, another night it's here, another night it's here, another night it's here. So it looks like it's going this way, but then suddenly it starts going, god damn it. I mean, gosh darn it. It starts going backwards. It goes from here and then it goes backwards through here and then it goes forward again. That period of when it's going backward is called retrograde. And when people say that, it's especially like in the context of like astrology, it's usually like, oh, it's a bad omen, you know, Mercury's going backwards, all these bad things are going to happen. Oh no, there's Mercury in the Gatorade. So that's not when a teacher regrades the test with a curve. Exactly. It's different. It's different. The reason why Mercury looks like it's doing that is because that's just how it looks to us. Okay, this is actually harder for me to explain. I need a GIF. I need a GIF. Yeah, actually, this is pretty decent. No, like freaking ads. So this is the Earth. When the Earth is revolving around like this, it is looking at. Is this looking at Mars? Or it might be looking at Mars, or because Mars is a little bit further out. So we're looking at Mars, and it looks like it's right here. But then we're over here, and it looks like it's actually here. So it looks like it's going in reverse, but it's actually not. It's just kind of an illusion of just our planet relative to the other planet. I feel like an actual astronomy professor would do a better job of like explaining this. Oh, here we go. This is a good GIF. Especially because Mercury orbits way faster around the sun than Earth does. So to us, you know what? This is a really good GIF because, so this is like Mercury looks like it's going this way. So when it reaches this part, that's when it's actually going quote unquote in retrograde. Is there a better? This is a cool picture as well. So each of the planets can actually go in retrograde, but it just looks like it's going backwards. Because let's say that you're like right here on this part of the Earth and you're looking at Mercury, it only looks like it's going backwards because it's going on the other side of the sun. So this is something that ancient peoples were able to see. You know, this is a composite photograph, but they were able to actually observe this and like just draw it out. So with this, especially like, for example, the Mesoamericans, like the Aztecs and the Mayas, they were really good at keeping track of the planet Venus because they also saw the planet Venus as a god. So one of their gods, Quetzalcoatl, is the god of the planet Venus. Yeah, Quetzalcoatl is a deity in Aztec culture, so he was related to the wind, Venus, sun, merchant arts, and crafts. So they would see, for example, planet Venus, and they would see that as Quetzalcoatl. And what's really interesting is that, let's go back to this. Oh, actually, we do have another ad break. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you guys in recess. Remind me when we get back. I want to explain to you guys the phenomena of the morning star and the evening star, which is Venus. But not every culture back then knew that those were the same entity. So I'll explain that when we get back from the ad break. All right. For now, I need to get some water. Okay, we're back. We're back. I was doing a little bit of research on the side. And I am thinking maybe in about 20 minutes I might call it. This was a fun research session, but I do want to still cover one more thing, and that is Venus! Venus! The planet Venus! Because this is another cool thing when it comes to, like, if we're talking about ancient astronomy and how, like, ancient civilizations, we're looking up at the sky, they were looking at the planets, and we're looking up at Venus. And Venus is such an interesting celestial object because we know, or at least if you paid attention when they were going over planets in school, or if you took an astronomy class, Venus is a planet that is very close to us. So on either side of us is Venus and Mars, and they're both pretty close to us in terms of size and like kind of composition. Just that Venus is like full of like so it's full of my favorite thing, actually, something that I love a lot: sulfuric acid. But a cool thing about seeing Venus in the sky is that it is known as two entities, the morning star and the evening star. And for many cultures, for a very long time, they were actually not aware that it was the same guy. Because they saw the morning star, which is a star, a celestial body, that is one of the brightest things that you see right in the morning, right before the sun rises, as well as the evening star, which is one of the last planets that you see, or I think like the first planet, first celestial object that you see once the sun sets. So why would you? I'm not a jerk. Why would you laugh at me? Why would you do that? I'm not a jerk. Venus. So to illustrate this, I have fast forwarded time. No, actually, let's go back to real time. We're currently at 8 p.m. PST. It's currently 8 o'clock right now, or it's gonna be 9 o'clock soon. Let's fast forward. And then it is 4 a.m. I'm waking up bright and early for a Saturday morning. I would never, by the way, I would never be up this early. But look, here's trusty Venus, right? But if you didn't know any better, you'd be like, oh, look at that super bright star that's there. Let's keep on accelerating. Now, at this point, the sky is getting a little bit brighter because the sun is eventually going to start rising and rising and rising. And then once the sun completely rises, you can't see the stars anymore. And soon, the light of the sun completely obscures the light of the morning star, which is Venus. So goodbye. Also, you can't see Mercury. It's just there. Not the redeem you were expecting. That's exactly true. It wasn't the redeem I was expecting. So the morning star is one of the last celestial bodies, the last really bright celestial bodies you see right before the sun rises. Now let's fast forward time. Let's go all the way to the other side here. Hello to the otter slide. And then let's say that sunset is soon. There we go. Mercury is following close behind. Let's see if we're gonna see Venus this time. So let's keep on keeping on. The sun has just set. Where is Venus? Is it gone? Is it... Oh no, it's under the horizon, so never mind. Like this, in this case, you do not see the evening star, but in during other seasons, you do see the evening star. But yeah, once the sun sets, the light no longer obscures the rest of the night sky, and you can see more things. You can see Mars, you can see the stars, you can see Arcturus, Vega, Vesper, I miss you. Other things. Oh, you know what? There is one more thing that I want to show you with this app, because did you guys know that you can actually see a galaxy with the naked eye? You don't need a telescope, you just need your eyes to adjust to it. I just need to find it, I think. Where is Orion? Where is Orion? Need to find the Pleiades, so... Aldebaran, where are you? I'm gonna see if I can find it without turning on the constellation art. Here we go. Betelgeuse, Pleiades, where is Orion? Orion. Here? I might need to turn on... I might need to turn on the constellations. Here. Oh, Betelgeuse is one of the... I'm silly. Here, you have... Orion. Here we go. It's pretty recognizable. A galaxy in Orion. Nice MIB reference. I don't remember what the reference is. I remember watching MIB as a kid. Here comes the Men in Black. But here's Orion. You could usually find this constellation, especially during the winter time. I think if you're in the northern hemisphere, I don't know if it's different. But yeah, you can usually see Orion in the night sky, especially during the winter or the fall. In his crotch, in this area right here, there is a galaxy. It looks like that. I think, is it the Rose Nebula? Oh no, I don't think it's a galaxy, it's a nebula. Let me see. Orion Nebula. Yeah, the Orion Nebula. So it kind of looks like this, but again, with astrophotography, they add a couple of colors just to kind of like add to the clarity. Or I think it's something like these are the colors, these are like X-ray colors or something like that. But there is a nebula right smack dab in the middle of Orion, the constellation. So on a fall or winter, if you're able to see the belt, the 3 stars that are aligned like this, let your eyes, you're gonna need to be like looking out at the night sky for a while. You need your eyes to adjust to the darkness, and you're gonna need to really, the Togen Nebula. Once your eyes adjust to the darkness, look directly underneath the belt, underneath these 3 stars. Once your eyes adjust, it should start to look almost like a smudge. Like it almost looks like a smudge, like in the night sky. That's the nebula. You can actually see that nebula with the naked eye without the need of a telescope, as long as you have you let your eyes adjust a bit. And you might need to be in a place that doesn't have a lot of light pollution. But I have been able to see the Orion Nebula before. I've actually been able to see it, like, and I live smack dab, like, not in the middle of Los Pincos, but I live in an area that, like, has a lot of light pollution. So if I could see it and there is, like, a lot of light pollution, like, no matter where you're at, you just really need at least like half an hour. You need your eyes to adjust for at least half an hour. Smudge below the belt? Sus. But I've been able to see it. It might just look like a smudge, but that I swear that is the nebula. You can see a nebula with the naked eye. All right, so whenever the next time you're going stargazing, just take a look see. But with that, let's go back to talking about Venus. So it's the morning star and it's the evening star. So there were cultures that didn't know that they were the same entity, but there are cultures that, like I said, are very good at tracking the pathway of the planets. So like in Babylonia, I think this article actually talks about it. So early observation: Venus is in the Earth's sky bright enough to be visible without aid, making it one of the classical planets that human cultures have known and identified throughout history, particularly for being the 3rd brightest object in the Earth's sky after the sun and the moon. Because the movements of Venus appear to be discontinuous, it disappears due to the proximity to the sun. Some cultures did not recognize Venus as a single entity. So what that means is that, unfortunately, you can't always track the complete pathway of Venus because it's so close to the sun. The sun's light is going to obscure the pathway. So sometimes when it appears in the early morning hours, that's when people know it as the morning star, and then it's going to reappear in the evening hours as the evening star. So for a lot of cultures, like I said, they recognize it as the morning and the evening star, but not as a single entity. However, we do have a cylinder seal from Mesopotamia that says that ancient Sumerians knew that the morning and evening stars were the same celestial object, which is so cool. Like, once again, like if I were to place a thesis, if I were to put like a topic sentence in terms of why I like to do this kind of research when it comes to ancient civilizations, it's because people tend to think that ancient civilizations like might not be as advanced as our civilization. And yes, they didn't have access to certain technology like the internet, like electricity and stuff like that, but they were able to use mathematical calculations to literally track the planets, predict eclipses. By the way, I didn't quite have enough time to talk about this, but they were able to certain civilizations could actually track when a solar and lunar eclipse was going to happen. That still stays true to this day. That's crazy. Like, they had the math skills to do that. Another thing is, if you look at the pyramids at Giza, they actually align, I think, almost perfectly to Orion's belt. The 3 pyramids of Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure, they actually align almost exactly to the 3 stars of Orion's belt. So that was not due to the intervention of aliens. And I hate when people say that. I don't like the idea of ancient aliens. No, they just had a lot of time on their hand. They had a lot of time, and they had a lot of information that they didn't just see with their own eyes. This was passed down generation from generation to generation. So they didn't have NFTs or AI. That's a point in their favor. Exactly. So it wasn't like they were just smart enough to know all these mathematical things. They also had information from past generations, from their mentors and their mentors' mentors and stuff like that. So this information just kept on being built on time over time over time over time. And unfortunately, we lost a lot because of the burning of the Library of Alexandria. But had we kept all of that information, we might have seen more of like the ingenuity of ancient peoples. And but we still have a lot of information still, like all of these cylinder seals, all of these tablets. They show that people were keeping track of the planets down to the degree, you know. In old Babylonian, the planet Venus was known as Ninsiana, later known as Dilbat, the divine lady. Chinese historically referred to Venus as the Great White, Tai Bai, or the opener starter of brightness. This is Qi Ming. And the evening Venus was the excellent west one, Changgeng. I think that is that how it's pronounced? I don't know tones that well. The ancient Greeks initially believed Venus to be 2 separate stars, Phosphorus, the morning star, and Hesperus, the evening star. Ancient Romans continued to designate the morning aspect of Venus as Lucifer, the light bringer, and the evening as wait, zoom in, enhance. Actually, I lost my observation and early acceleration. Enhance, guys. He's alive in our hearts. He was alive all the way in Roman times. I knew he was a vampire anyway. So you have Lucifer and you have Vesper. Which are both literal translations for their traditional Greek names. Oh yeah, because Hesperus. Hesperus is the Greek version of Vesper, and Lucifer. Oh, I didn't know that Phosphorus and Lucifer are like translations for each other's names. That's pretty neat. I actually didn't know that. I knew about Hesperus and Vesper because they kind of sound alike. Hesperus, Vesper. But Phosphorus and Lucifer? You learn something new every day. 2nd century, his astronomical treatise. Ptolemy theorized that both Mercury and Venus were located between the sun and the earth. Ooh! They knew that back then. Persian astronomer Avicenna claimed to have observed the transit of Venus, although there is some doubt to it. Ibn Bajjah observed 2 planets as black spots on the face of the sun. Oh, this is cool. The Dresden Codex, which calculates the appearance of Venus. This was another culture that didn't quite differentiate the morning and the evening star and saw them as 2 different entities. So I believe the morning star was seen as Quetzalcoatl, the god that I had shown you earlier, this one. I think the evening star was... It was either this one, Ehecatl, or it was Coatl. I think. I'm actually not like 100% sure. Actually, we could look it up. Why don't we just look it up while I reduce the size of this? Evening star, Aztec. It's Xolotl. So this is the evening star. Oh my gosh, I love this statue. Is the dog? Is what the dog doing? What the dog doing? That's adorable. This is the dog god, so this is Xolotl, which nowadays shares its name with a dog breed. I think it's the ones with like no hair, no fur. Xolotl, Codex Xolotl. I want to. Oh my god, I love this. He's so fat. He's so chunky. Oh, these the Xolotl. How can I pronounce this? Xoloitzcuintli. Xoloitzcuintli. Look at them. Aww. I love when they have little mohawks. So yeah, Quetzalcoatl was seen as the morning star. Xolotl was the evening star. And now we know another name. Vesper. Lucifer and Vesper. So every time you look upon the planet Venus, know that you are looking on Vesper. Possible atmospheric oh my gosh, guys. One day we will live on Venus. In these cool floating houses. It's just like the Jetsons. Dun, 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 dun. This is the Dresden Codex. I'm curious about this one. What is the Dresden Codex? I feel like one of my colleagues who studies Maya culture, they've told me about it before. But let's look a little bit more. Is a Maya book, which was believed to be the oldest surviving book written in the Americas, dating 11th or 12th century. Codex was rediscovered in the city of Dresden. It was made accordion style. Ooh, describing local history and astronomical tables. I want to see the astronomical tables. Oh, here. Venus. Here we go. Ruggles shows that in the Codex, the Maya related their 260-day calendar to celestial bodies, especially Venus and Mars. The Dresden Codex contains accurate astronomical tables, which are recognized by students of the Codex for its detailed Venus tables and lunar tables. The lunar series has intervals correlating with eclipses. There we go. While the Venus tables correlate with the movements of the planet Venus. The Codex also contains astrological tables and ritual schedules. The religious references show a cycle of 260-day ritual calendar, the important Maya royal events. The Codex also includes information on the Maya New Year ceremony tradition. The rain god Chak is represented 134 times. I love myself the water god, the rain gods. My Gaitlalok. The soccer team from Tijuana has a Xolo dog as a mascot. That's adorable! They're the Tijuana Xoloitzcuintles. Nice! Oh yeah, earlier we were talking about like, I don't know if you were here then, Pexicle, but we were talking about like how to pronounce the TL. I wasn't sure if I was saying it right, but but I was saying like, you know, instead of saying axolotl, they would have said like axolotl. And then instead of like ocelot, ocelotl. And I was trying to explain how to like pronounce it, but it's hard. It's hard to explain how to do it. I love my guy Tlalok though. Oh my god, is this the whole thing? Is this the whole... Jesus Christ. You could literally... Oh my god, it's the whole codex. It's just... The whole codex is just on Wikipedia. What the heck? You could read it for free. Well, you have to learn how to read it, but... Oh, these are numbers. These are Maya numbers. Each dot is 1 and each line is a 5. And then the thing that looks like a shell, or I don't know if I could... I don't see it, but the 0... I think it's this one. This is a... Is this... Or is this 10? I forgot. There is one for... One of these is 0. This is 1, 5, 10, 15. So this would be 16. This would be 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So you could count using Maya symbols now. I think... Is this 0? I feel like this is 0. I wonder what in these codices tell them things like this means eclipse or Venus. Oh, that's true. Because I know I have a colleague that can actually read Maya glyphs. So I'm wondering if it was that. Like, they eventually figured out what the glyph was for Venus. Because maybe they did associate Quetzalcoatl with Venus and then Xolotl with the... Well, kind of the same thing, right? But I'm wondering if they saw a glyph of like, oh, why do they keep on mentioning like Quetzalcoatl, right? So maybe that's where it kind of clicked, where it's like, oh, this is tracking the planetary movements of Venus. At least that's my theory, right? So when you see a lot of dates like these, the prediction would be that this is probably explaining a bunch of historical dates. So like in the year of the reign of the 54th, I forgot the word for like a Maya ruler. Oh my gosh, why am I forgetting? Like I had it drilled in my head for a while. Why am I forgetting it? The Lord, the word for Lord. I forgot. Maya word for Lord. Ahau. It's Ahau. Like, isn't there someone like Kinich Ahau? Like their lord. In the year of, in the second year of the reign of Ahau Kinich. Tlatoani, yeah, that's another one, yeah. Tlatoani for the Aztec. Yeah. I've been trying to... Oh, I finally finished reading this one really cool comic called Codex Black. This person, what is their name again? Camilo Moncada Lozano. They made a comic, graphic novel called Codex Black, and it takes a lot of inspiration from different Mesoamerican cultures. So this main character, she's, I think she's Zapotec. But this character right here, he is Aztec. He's Nahuatl. So it tells like their story, but I just love how much of like Mesoamerican culture they incorporated in it. Cause yeah, like one of the characters is Moctezuma, and the guy that came before him, the emperor, the Tlatoani that was before him, Moctezuma. Who's this guy? Awizot. And Awizot in this comic, he's a looker. He's kind of a cutie. Codex Black. Like, I like how this artist does kind of like anime style, but they also have all of the well, what I assume to be accurate period piece clothing, right? Because he doesn't have that like stereotypical like green feather crown that a lot of people might assume is like, you know, the crown of like Moctezuma, but instead they have like this crown. Kind of cute though, kind of cute. Is that a squirrel on a string? Wait, where? Oh yeah, I think it's I don't know if it's a squirrel, but yeah, I think his name Ahuizot, I think it means like water something. like water thorny. Name glyph depicting the water monster. Oh, because yeah, I think there's like a water monster in Aztec mythology. It like drags people down. I think it is called an ahi. Yeah, it's this one. It's this one. Ahuizot. Ahuizot was the last Mexica emperor who died before the contact with the Europeans. Ah, lucky. Lucky bastard. But yeah, so we were talking about the Dresden Codex. So yeah, like all these different civilizations where, you know, they weren't busy with their 9-to-5s, and they still work, don't get me wrong. Like they still, like, instead of having like a 9-to-5 job, they were out in the fields, or they were out like hunting, gathering, or they were like doing their bureaucratic duty to keep track of all the grain that they got, right? So people were still working back then, but when they weren't working, they were looking up at the stars. They were looking at the world around them and coming up with theories as to like what formed this world around them. And they had time to do things like track every single star and track every single planet and put it to paper, or not paper, but like put it to some kind of writing, you know? So Mega Bronson, hello. We're actually at the tail end of things. I'm starting to run out of steam, but we were talking about astronomy, talking about how ancient civilizations were like looking at these stars and coming up with stories and stuff. We were looking at the Dresden Codex, which is a Aztec codex, like a book essentially that tracked the pathway of Venus across the sky. Venus. And then what else? We were looking at Venus. I just wanted to look at more of like the ancient culture stuff. I think after that we might call it daylight apparitions. Here we go. An early modern astronomy. Let's see. Is there anything else that I am missing here? The exhibit that kind of like inspired this want to research into like ancient astronomy, eventually it did also go into like the scientific revolution, where people were like Copernicus and Galileo. They were kind of exploring like the scientific portions of astronomy, where for a while, especially in Europe, they had believed in geocentrism, which is this belief that the Earth is the center of the universe and the solar system and all of that stuff. And it wasn't until later on. Oh my gosh, this is actually a funny story. I think it's Copernicus. Hey, let me look. He did something pretty ballsy. Let me see if it was him. I haven't watched that one anime, the one that's called Orb. Like, I think it tells the story, right? Orb. Yeah, there's an anime called Orb, and I think it goes over the story. But I think it's Copernicus that he eventually did the math in terms of eventually realizing that like we are in a heliocentric model, as in the sun is actually the center of our solar system and we revolve around it, as opposed to like back in medieval times they had believed that the earth was in the center and the moon and the stars and everything revolved around it, and the sun like revolved around the earth. And that was the stance that the church had taken. The Catholic Church, or the Protestant Christian, like the church had taken this stance that the earth is the center of the universe. And of course that goes in line with the beliefs of like the Bible, where like, you know, God created the earth and he created all this and he created the sun and the moon in order to like be auxiliary to the earth, if that makes sense. So to go against that would be tantamount to going against the idea of God. At least that's how they saw it. So scientists like Copernicus and Galileo, they eventually realized like, no, wait, we're in a heliocentric model. The sun is the center and we are revolving around the sun. We are not the center of the universe. So someone feel free to correct me. I'm SMH, shaking my head. They were so self-centered, right? Someone feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe it's Copernicus who proved this, and he wrote the treatise on it. He literally wrote the book on like why this is the case. And then he was warned about like, if you publish this book, the church is going to come after you. All right. Copernicus was like, yeah, that's fine. Whatever. So he didn't publish it throughout his entire life until he died. He ordered it for the book to be published posthumously, as in after he died. So that way, he would still get the credit for this discovery, but he wouldn't get the punishment from the church. Which that's why, like, this is a pretty ballsy move. I also don't remember if it was him who had that infamous quote of "E por si mueve," and yet it moves. Oh, it's Galileo. It's Galileo, and yet it moves. So this was because Galileo was another person who supported the idea of heliocentrism, as in like the Earth revolves around the sun. He came out with this idea, and then he was also warned. He was like, if you claim this, the church is going to come after you, because you are essentially like like going against the teachings of the church. So Galileo is like, fine, I'm gonna recant. I'm gonna say that the earth is the center of the universe, blah, blah, blah. And then it's said that he said this. He said, e por si mueve, and yet it moves. As if to say, it doesn't matter what you guys think. It doesn't matter what you tell me to think, what you are telling the populace to think. It's not gonna change the fact that the earth is revolving around the sun, and yet the earth moves around the sun. So it's almost like yeah, I'll say it, but it's not gonna change the reality of things. Did the church dig him up to symbolically excommunicate him? I actually don't know. Like my knowledge of this, I used to know this by heart back when I was like fresh out of astronomy class, but unfortunately I don't remember it anymore. It's flown out of my head like a burb. E por si muove. I remember when I first learned about this story in my first like astronomy 101 class. I loved it. I loved this quote. I was like, I should get this tattooed on me because I love it so much. But I didn't end up doing that. But yeah, so eventually scientific revolution, we started to get ideas like this, and now we're still to this day researching so many things about our solar system, about space, and about our universe. So but that didn't start with the scientific revolution. It started in ancient times and even earlier than that. So yeah, we didn't get a chance to start on our presentation. It's still basic. I didn't write down any notes, but with everything that we talked about today, I feel like this is a good bedrock to potentially make a educational stream about this topic. But also, I feel like we yapped already so much about different topics today. We researched it in real time, you know? So who knows? Who knows? Maybe this is how I'm going to be doing my educational streams from now on. We'll see. We'll see. I still want to, in terms of educational... Oh, I should tell you guys this. I finally opened up my editing software. And yet to this day, some people believe the earth is flat. Yeah, that's the state of education. Well, not education. It's the state of like how people don't respect, I guess, like scientific authority or experts, period. It's the whole anti-intellectualism of nowadays, unfortunately. So yeah, I should tell you guys something before I end stream for tonight. And it is, I finally opened up my editing software and I finally edited down one of my VODs. Oh yeah, I was just stopping raids right now. I did it, you guys. We got through the introduction to the lecture. Welcome to Babinka's class. Yeah, I finally edited down one of my VODs. It's the VOD that talks about Digimon and the Greco-Roman gods that inspired the Digimon Olympus 12. Because I was chatting in one of my Digimon Discords and they started asking questions about like certain mythology things, and I was like, oh, I know a lot about mythology. In fact, I have a whole stream where I yapped about it. But as I was watching my own stream, I was like, oh, we went on so many tangents. So I actually went back into my editing software and I edited down the VOD by a full hour. It was like, I think 3 hours, and I edited down to like 1 hour, 55 minutes. So I took out a lot of different tangents in Dead Space. So, by the way, I'm never going to play Dead Space. I looked at the lore of that. For one, it's scary. For two, it brings me existential dread. That video game, by the way, Dead Space, is related to astronomy in many ways, but it unsettles me in a certain way. Maybe I'll talk about that next time, but the lore of Dead Space unsettles me like a lot. But I'll talk about that another time. Video editing streamer is true content creator now, right? So I finished one of... She edited all the time she talked about booba insect. No! I don't talk about this because I'm a respectable teacher. So not only did I edit it, I'm actually going to schedule it to release tomorrow. But it's not going to be on my VOD channel. I actually have a different YouTube channel that's just Babinka Bear. So I'll probably post it to my social media and on the Discord. But yeah, for those that want a little bit of a review session, that's gonna be posted hopefully tomorrow. I might hold back because I'm trying to make the thumbnail for it. I'm trying to make it cool and like graphic designy looking. That might hold me back from posting it tomorrow. It might even be posted Sunday, but I'll let you know. So yeah, I'm trying to experiment now with posting my edited VODs. Hey, who's laughing at me? Matthew! Why? I'm not a jerk. Why would you laugh at me for that? Why would you laugh at me for that? I did a good thing. I did a smart thing. Streamer is finally releasing edited content. Maybe this is the gateway to me posting shorts and all that good stuff. So I'm still in the process of editing the second part because remember it was like a two-parter. I'm still editing the second part. So that one might not be out for like 2 weeks or something, but tomorrow, either tomorrow or the day after, I'll be posting my edited VOD. That wasn't a cue for the laugh track. I am a respectable teacher. How bear you? How bear you? But alright guys, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. Let's go ahead and mosh. Hey! Who threw that? Open up the pit. Open up the pit. What are we listening to today? Ron discovering new things for 20 minutes straight. What are we listening to? Key and Peele. Let's go to our usual Falcone. No, wait, I mentioned Melody Sheep. Let's mosh to Melody Sheep. Hey! Open up the pit. Melody Sheep, because we were talking about space stuff. I don't know their new stuff, so I'm gonna go back to their like old stuff. The stuff that I'm familiar with. You know what? Let's go oldest. There we go. A still more glorious dawn awaits, not a sunrise, but a galaxy rise. We are all connected. Actually, a lot of these are really good. No, yeah, let's just do a glorious dawn. Alright, so it's mosh pit time. For any folks that want to join us in our mosh pit, all you gotta do is, once you hear the music, spam your favorite emotes, and then I'm gonna make your little stream avatars there on the floor fight each other. There's no correlation between how much you spam emotes and who wins the mosh pit. It is RNG, and it is not rigged. Don't believe the lies. But anyways, let's mosh. Ha. Bang bang. An apple pie from scratch. Invent the universe. Someone else in time. We will one day venture to the stars. A still more glorious dawn awaits, not a sunrise, but a galaxy rise. The rising of the Milky Way. Yoshiopi, you survived the mosh pit. Let's go. I'm just trying to see who we're gonna raid into. But let's get started with round 2. A still more glorious dawn awaits, not a sunrise, but a galaxy rise. The rising of the Milky Way. We do not destroy ourselves. We will one day venture to the stars. Freaking auto-tune Stephen Hawking hit so hard. Oh no! Oh no! You didn't see- No, it's not rigged! It's not rigged. In fact, I think we have time for a round 3. Right? You know Genie Art? Yeah, I know. I know she's a current- I think I know who I will raid into. I raided into her before. But we're actually gonna raid into Siri. Siri VT. Uh-oh, I don't want to activate no phones. But she's a cool one. Put your phone away! The Rising of the Milky Way. Man, this also feels a little depressing knowing how, like, just how messed up things are nowadays. It's like, are we ever gonna make it into space? I feel like we were so hopeful back then. Good job, Folk! You did it! You won round 3 and you proved that it's not rigged. I'm telling you guys, it's not rigged. I'm telling you guys. But alright. Good job today. Good job with the research. Thank you for joining me as we were talking about ancient astronomy and not ancient aliens. So we're gonna go ahead and raid into Siri VT. She is a Sphinx VTuber. I like her a lot. She's very charming. She's very charming and very endearing to her chat. I think she is currently playing a game called Chronos: The New Dawn. I just felt like it was apt because we were talking a little bit about ancient civilizations. We're talking about space. She is a Sphinx. She is also Egyptian by heritage, so like she knows a lot about like Egyptian culture. And then she's playing Chronos. I actually don't know this game at all, but you know, I feel like that relates kind of to astronomy and whatnot. So with that, we are going to raid into Siri. Let's go ahead and start that raid. Thanks for the fun stream. Thank you guys for dropping in. Ancient otter folk. It's crazy how ancient aliens invented. No! 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 You guys are trolling. You have to be. You have to be. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good morning, afternoon, or evening. And as always, I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Bye-bye! We raid. Ancient earth signs.